Michelle and I are here in California and Kristen's out in Georgia, and we're testing the Adidas Ubersonic 4. Let's get started.
Having play tested several of the previous Ubersonics from Adidas, I was really happy with this update, and I absolutely love the styling and the cosmetics that Adidas is executing on this lightweight shoe. The first thing I noticed was how supportive that booty really is. It held my feet in so well. But I do have to mention the lacing system was a bit tough for me to get dialed in with. It was really hard for me to cinch up my laces any tighter, and that bothered me just a tiny bit. I also did have a tiny bit of a break in with the upper as it did rub on my ankles, but once I wore this shoe for a couple hours, that was all sorted out and broken in. The Lightstrike midsole cushioning is really responsive yet still comfortable, but I felt really light and quick on my feet. And as far as the outsole, the traction was just fine for me. I didn't feel like I was too slippery, and I did feel like I had good tack when I needed it. I do want to mention this isn't going to be the most durable shoe out there, as I am seeing some wearing on the outsoles after a couple weeks of use. But all in all, really excited about this update, and I think it's going to be a great shoe for players looking to be nice and speedy and comfortable and cute on the court.
One of the first things I noticed when trying on these Ubersonic 4s was an updated fit compared to the 3s. Now the 3s fit really quite long. These I thought were more true to length, and I didn't need to change sizes. And the width, although not super narrow, was a little bit truer to medium. And when I got onto the court, I did not need a break-in at all. These shoes were flexible for me right out of the box, and I felt really speedy on court. And I really like the low-to-the-ground feel in the forefoot, so if you really like court feel, these would be for you. The cushioning in the heel was nice, and I could actually feel like a Lightstrike bubble as I was walking around. I thought that the traction matched really well. I never felt like I was stumbling around the court. I always was sure of foot, and the stability was also really good for me. The one thing that I had a little bit of an issue with was that the laces are really thin. I didn't have the issue as Michelle did, and I was able to cinch up my laces, but I could really feel them digging into the top of my feet if I pulled them too tightly, just because the booty construction's a little bit thin and the laces are really narrow. And as Michelle mentioned, these shoes aren't super durable. I was noticing some wear mostly on my toe after just a few hours, but players who are looking for a really fast and light feel around the court should check out these Ubersonic 4s. And that's what Michelle and I thought here in San Luis Obispo. We're now going to check in with Kristen in Atlanta. Kristen, how'd these shoes work out for you?
Thanks, guys. This was my first time playtesting the Ubersonic, and overall I really enjoyed the playtest. I just had a couple of hiccups along the way. First off, when I tried on my normal size 7, these ran pretty long at the toes for me, so I opted to size down a half size to a 6.5. That worked out best for me in getting a more true to length fit. These also fit comfortably snug thanks to that booty construction. And the other thing I noticed right off the bat was that underfoot cushioning. Even just trying them on, they felt super responsive underfoot, and they did not disappoint. On court, I felt super light on my feet, always on my toes, super speedy to the ball. I barely noticed these on my feet. It wasn't until the end of my first hitting session that I noticed that the ankle collars were starting to dig into my ankles a bit, both on the lateral and medial side. So I made sure to wear a sock that was high enough that it covered the ankle collar, and that with a little break in time helped alleviate that comfort issue. For the lightweight nature of the shoe, I found these to be super stable on court. They also offered really nice support. I always had a really locked in, secure feel. The only support issue I had was at the end of the play test. After I had put upwards of 10 hours in the shoes, I noticed that the underfoot cushioning started to lose some of its responsiveness, and especially towards my forefoot, it started to feel really bare and thin underfoot there. So I was starting to notice the results of pounding on the court, and I started to get a little bit of sliding issues then as well. That kind of leads over into durability, which for a lightweight shoe, it's not expected that these would get the highest marks for durability. And I did notice after 10 hours that I was getting some smoothing at the toes, especially on my right foot where I drag my toe on serves. There's some smoothing there, but it wasn't anything that I wouldn't normally expect to see from a shoe in this lightweight category. The traction underfoot, I really never had to think about traction. I felt like I was just floating across the court in these in a manner that wasn't at all slippy. So really enjoyed the traction there. Overall, it's been a while since I've worn a lightweight shoe, and I loved how speedy I felt in these, and I really loved that initial comfort that I got from the Like-Strike midsole cushioning. That wraps up our review of the Adidas Adizero Ubersonic 4s. For more information on this shoe or others, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.